Today we're taking on the LEGO Model Team 5590 Whirl and Wheel Super Truck, a set that combines land and air for double the fun. With over 1,000 pieces, let's get it built and see what makes this set so popular. Hello and welcome back to the LEGO Model Team series, in which we've already featured the 5510 off-road 4x4 and the 5580 highway rig. Today we're really taking it up a notch though with the Whirl and Wheel Super Truck. This set was released in 1990 and consists of 1,025 pieces, and when it's built it's over ½ a metre long. Here you can see all of those regular parts as checked online without any extra pieces. The only thing we're missing is one sticker. So this would be the sticker set. We've got this one on here, these 4 on the doors over there, these 3 you can see just down here, and there's supposed to be 2 engine off stickers, of which we have 1 on a block here. So unless the other one turns up, we're just missing 1 sticker, but that's certainly not a deal breaker. So that's going to be everything we need to build the super truck. The load carrier, and that's primarily going to be these black parts, and the red pieces used for, of course, the helicopter. As ever, I'll be speed building through this with a clock that'll be up in the top right so you can see how long everything's taking me, and I'll be slowing down and talking you through anything that pops up of interest, and then right at the very end we'll be finishing with a demo and review. The first model team 4x4 took me 1 hour and 6 minutes. The second, the highway rig, was 2 hours 51. So feel free to have a guess at just how long you think this one's going to take. I'm going for a guess of around 3 hours and 50 minutes. So what I'll be doing is I'll just make myself a bit of space, and then I'll set the timer up, and then that's when we'll get cracking. Okay, so we're at the 1 hour 13 mark. I've stopped the clock, and the first part of the build is the helicopter. I'll do the full review at the end, but I just wanted to give you a quick look at it built. I think it's come out really well. It's huge, so knowing how big the full model is, the truck and the flatbed are also going to be massive. A couple of the things I've noticed are it's got these little things, like they've purposely put these parts in so that you can raise them up, and it stops the blades moving around when it's in storage, which is a nice touch. I was expecting something to go on the top to potentially stop this falling off, but it literally just slides in on there, nothing on there, and actually it holds in place fine, so that's why it's not on there. But yeah, that's the helicopter done, 1 hour 13, and we carry on with the rest of the build. So at this point we're just over 2 hours, and the only thing I've really struggled with the instructions was putting these parts on the side. The instructions really aren't very clear here about where they sit and how close, but basically what you have to do is this piece here, you click it underneath onto here, but it's not all the way flush. You have to leave a gap, otherwise it knocks off these pieces here. Once I figured that out, after about 5 minutes or so, I was able to carry on with the build. And that's pretty much the base of the super truck done. It's going to start building up in height now. Okay, looks like I've made a mistake earlier here. I was looking for one of these. It's a 2x8 in grey, and I was like, I definitely had the two of them, where is it? So I went looking back for similar sized parts, and it turns out that this one here, sometimes the greys and the blacks are very similar. And what I've done is, instead of using a black one across here, I used the grey one. It's just behind there running across. So what I'm gonna have to do is take this part, take it apart as easily as I can, get that grey one out, put the black one in, and then I can carry on with the build. But these things happen. Another super quick update. Obviously, it all seems to be happening at once. My timer died. Thankfully, because I'm recording, I knew what I was at. So I've just stuck a 2 over the 0 and carried on with the minutes. And I'll pop a 3 on and a 4 on, rather than waiting 2 hours for it to get back up. It just seemed like the sensible choice. Okay, so that's us just ticking over the 3-hour mark now, and the super truck is built. It is one chunky, hefty beast. It reminds me a little bit of the highway truck, but it just doesn't have that engine part there, but it does have some things that set it apart that are really nice. And again, we'll go into that at the review stage, but looking really good. That's a helicopter done. That's a super truck done. Time to move on to the trailer, and then we can put it all together. And that's time, 4 hours, 21 minutes and 10 seconds. I've just completed the final stage. There's a few pieces left over on the side, but that will be for the alternative build because it's not going to need exactly the same pieces that are used in this one. So what I'm going to do now is put everything together, get ready, change the camera angle, and we'll do a proper demo and review of this massive set. And so here we are, and I think you've got to agree, this thing looks absolutely amazing. It took 4 hours 21, around half an hour of that was where I made the mistake with the grey and the black and having to go and back and resolve it. So that would have been closer to the 3 hours 50 if I hadn't made those big mistakes. But you know, if you consider you're going to make a mistake or two going along with a build of this size, then I don't think that's too unreasonable to say it's around a 4 hour build. Looking at the scale of it, I think the proportions are absolutely fantastic. We've got the super truck here at the front, this lovely flatbed going all the way back, and then the helicopter just sat here on the rear as well. I just think this thing is absolutely fantastic, and I'm so pleased I had the opportunity to build this. So why don't we have a look at them individually, pointing out some of the finer detail before we do a wrap up. So as I highlighted during the build, I think this super truck is proportioned really nicely. It's got like this really chunky square look to it, that lovely flat front of a like a highway truck. We've got plenty of detail. I mean, look at these lights here with the stubs underneath the clear parts here. We've got lights here. We've got our mirrors. We've got tools on either side. We've got the horns at the top, aerials, the chimney stacks. A little bit similar to the highway truck in terms of the stacks here at the back, but certainly has its own style. I also really like at the rear the pipes that lead round here. We've got the mounting point for the trailer, which I'll show you in a second. All just fits in really nicely together. You've got the your rear lights here as well. Big four wheels either side at the back and a single wheel at the front. Steering as well is really easy to use because the steering mechanism is this wheel here. So as you can see, just operating that operates the front wheels. Real smooth and nice and easy to use. In terms of some of the other details, we can open up the doors and have a look inside the cabin. We've got those reclining red seats. We've got the gear shifter, gear levers in the middle and the steering wheel. And there's some other little details in there as well. We also have this thing up here at the top. Doesn't really do much. It just raises up and drops down a little bit. I guess you could go, oh yeah, we're going to call in the helicopter or something like that. I guess one thing I would have liked to have seen a little bit differently on this one would have been the ability to get inside the cabin a little bit more easily. So putting perhaps a pivot on the front so you could readily open up the roof, because really you can only just peer in and try and just poke a figure inside. But yeah, just really nicely built. And then what we have at the back is this section here, just like a proper truck would have when it hooks up a flatbed. So if we bring in the flatbed now, and you can see the size of the flatbed compared to the truck, it's at least an extra half as long. And even though it's a flatbed, this as well has lots of detail, which I'll show you now. So we have the pin here, which goes into the truck. We've got this lovely piping, which would be brake lines, on a normal rig. We've got these parts here that move up and down for, I guess, restraining the helicopter, or they're basically kind of tie down points on the vehicle. We've got all these along the side. I guess these would be for kind of lashings over the top as well. Coming around to the back as well, plenty of detail. We've got the lights. We've got, again, another little eyelet at the back. And what's nice as well, the wheels. So we've got the wheels here, but we also have this little trolley wheel that articulates. So you can have it out when it's not attached, and then when it goes onto the truck, you just put that there and it's out of the way. Your trolley just like this, back up your truck, and you kind of come under there, and then you'd lower down, and away you can drive away like an actual truck driver. Away you go with your flatbed. So you can see the size of that there. But it's really nicely proportioned. Nothing seems, nothing stands out at all. A lovely level of detail. I just think they've done a really good job with that. So let's move on to the helicopter. So here's our helicopter, and again, I think they've really done well with this. The proportions are nice. It's a big size and it looks like one. It doesn't look like a toy helicopter. It actually looks like a proper helicopter, something like a Huey, or maybe with these on the bottom, something more like a search and rescue or a sea helicopter perhaps. So we've got our aerial on here, or our potentially a refuel probe, and we've got a light on the other side as well. Our steps to get up and to get inside as well. Coming around, we've got our lights here in the tail rotor section, and obviously everything moves, that moves round. As I mentioned during the build, they've got this nice touch where you can pop these down in order to operate the rotors like this. But you might not want them to move all the time because you don't want to bang them or knock them. So when it's in the stow position, you can just lift these up to hold the main rotor head in place, which I thought was a real nice thought. Again, detail-wise, we can open up the doors just like we can on the truck to look inside. We've got lots of instrumentation there, which is nice. There's a main panel, two smaller ones either side. There's some knobs above it. There's another kind of gear lever, another panel there. These lovely bright yellow seats I thought were a really nice design feature to make them stand out inside. Again though, it would have been nice potentially to be able to more easily just open up and have a look inside, but again I think they've done a really good job. So why don't we land this on the back of the truck and finish up the video. So here it is all back together for our closing shot, and this set really has been a joy to build. Other than some tricky bits just getting this right, and there was a bit underneath where the instructions weren't particularly clear. The only real bits were when I got things wrong modelling up the grey and the black. It was a fairly straightforward build after there. It just took a little bit of time, but I am so pleased I've done it. The truck is fantastic, detailed, well proportioned, as is the load carrier, the flatbed and the helicopter, and just the sheer size of it and the fact that you have the road and the air just makes it a really fantastic piece. But what do you think of the LEGO Model Team 5590 Whirl and Wheeled? Is it one that you had, or maybe you just want to own it now you've seen it be built? If you did like the video, and you want to see more LEGO or retro content, please consider subscribing to the channel or liking this one if you appreciate the time that's gone into it. And until the next one, all the best, take care and see ya.